Hello students of class 6. Today we are going to do a new chapter, a new poem, Robinson Crusoe story by Charles E. Campbell. Now you must have heard about Robinson Crusoe, the novel written by Daniel Defoe, where Robinson Crusoe sets out for a voyage, but unfortunately he meets with a shipwreck and the whole ship is destroyed, and then he goes, he is the only one who is able to save himself, and he goes and takes shelter in a desolate, in a lonely island where he is the only person, and how he manages to live there with some of the things he gathered from the shipwreck and the rest of the things that he collected, that he got from the island itself, what kind of food he ate, and that he also met a person named Friday, whose mention you will also see in this poem. And finally he was saved by a ship. Now, what Charles E. Campbell has done, he has taken he has taken the main story in that way and written this poem in a very humorous manner. Now, first I will read the poem. The Night, Robinson Crusoe story by Charles E. Campbell. The night was thick and hazy when the Piccadilly Daisy carried down the crew and the captain in the sea. And I think the water drowned them, for they never found them, and I know they didn't come ashore with me. It was very lonely, sad and lonely, when I found myself the only population on this cultivated shore. But I have made a little tavern in a rocky little cabin, and I sit and watch for people at the door. I spend no time in looking for a girl to do my cooking, as I'm quite a clever hand at making stews. But I have that fellow Friday just to keep the tavern tidy and to put a Sunday polish on my shoes. I have a little garden that I'm cultivating lard in, as the things I eat are rather tough and dry, for I live on toasted lizards, prickly pears and parrot gizzards, and I'm really very fond of beetle pie. The clothes I had were furry, and it made me fret and worry when I found the moths were eating off the hair, and I had to scrape them and sand them, and I boiled them and entangled till I got the fine Morocco suit I wear. I sometimes seek diversion in a family excursion with a few domestic animals you see, and we take along a carrot as refreshment for the parrot and a little can of jungleberry tea. Then we gather as we travel bits of moss and dirty gravel, and we chip off little specimens of stone, and we carry home as prizes funny bugs of handy sizes, just to give the day a scientific tone. If the roads are wet and muddy, we remain at home and study, for the goat is very clever at a sum, and the dog, instead of fighting, studies ornamental writing, while the cat is taking lessons on the drum. We return at 11, and we rise again at 7. And I wish to call attention as I close to the fact that all the callers are correct about their collars and particular in turning out their toes. So this was about the whole poem. Now, in the very first stanza, we will see the night was thick and hazy. So, thick and hazy, as I've written, it suggests that it was a bad weather condition. Actually, there was a storm, and that is the reason why there was a shipwreck. Okay, it hit against a rock, and the ship split. When the Piccadilly Daisy is name of Crusoe's ship, carried down the crew and captain. So everybody, came on board the ship. But unfortunately, there was a storm and nothing could be seen properly. So the ship hit and it got destroyed. Carried down the crew and captain in the sea, and I think the water drowned them, for they never found them. And I know they didn't come ashore with me. So these these 3 lines means that Crusoe's ship met with a shipwreck and everybody else was drowned. Okay, but the only person who survived and who was able to swim ashore was Crusoe himself. Only person. Okay, who was able to. He went and landed in a very remote, lonely island, where he was the only living person. Oh, it was. It is written in this way. It was very sad and lonely. Naturally, being all alone is very sad and lonely. When I found myself the only population in this cultivated shore. Only population means, as I've written, the only living person. Okay, so he was the only living person in that island. But I made a little tavern. Tavern means inn. Okay, inn is a small roadside hotel where people. Travelers, they generally used to be there. They used to travel long distances. There were inns along the highways, and people used to rest there for a day or two, and then they would. Then they would carry on with their journey. So what Crusoe thought was, he thought that as I wrote it here, he imagined his cave to be an inn, and just as an innkeeper would wait outside the door to welcome customers, in the same way he would, knowing fully well that he was the only person living there, he would sit at the door of his cave, imagining himself as an innkeeper, and wait for imaginary customers. Now we can understand that it said that it was very sad and lonely. Because it was sad and lonely, that is the reason why he used to do this, just to relieve himself from his boat. I spent no time in looking for a girl to do my cooking, as I am quite a clever hand at making stews. So he says that I don't need a wife to do the cooking, because I am very good at cooking. Naturally, there is no other person in this island who will, where will we get the girl from? So it's written in a very funny way. But I had a fellow Friday. So, after a long time he finds Friday. And since he found him on that date, that's why he's, mentioning him as that. Just to keep the tavern. Tavern means the inn. Okay. Tavern tidy means here he imagines his cave to be an inn, tidy, to put a Sunday polish on my shoes. So his job was to clean the a cave and to put polish his shoes on sun. Thank you students. We will do the rest in the next